Okay, I've posted the answer key as just a document, but I just want to go over it. O is the center of the circle. Which line is the tangent? Remember, it's AC. If you called it ABC, then you're actually telling me an angle, a 180-degree angle, a straight angle. Okay, so just AC. DE, we're just going to review a little bit. That's a chord. OB would be the radius. Point B is the point of tangency. Okay. O is the center of the circle. Point T is the point of tangency. What's the value of E? Just to review that makes a 90-degree angle. Draw a line through point P that is not a tangent to the circle, so it doesn't just touch the edge of the circle at one point. So you could have had a whole bunch of different answers. I just drew a line real quickly through there. Okay, you could have gone like this too, right? You could have just cut through it like that, anything like that. See how it touches the circle at 2 points there, so that wouldn't work. So multiple answers there. Okay, then the next one says draw a line through point P that is a tangent. So I just graze the edge here. Okay, I labeled it point Q, and I could have called this other side R. Okay, is a line that passes through points UV a tangent to the circle? So I just took a ruler and connected them, and it touches at the edge there, so my answer is yes. Okay, question 16. O is the center of the circle. B is the point of tangency. So we know we've created 90-degree angles down here. And so we have to remember that all the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180. So to find W, I simply added 90 and 55. I subtracted that from 180, and I got 35 degrees left over. Same thing's going to happen over here, just different numbers. 25 and 90 is 115. I subtracted that from 180, and I got 65 degrees. Okay, question 17 is exactly the same thing. Okay, point of tangency is V. 90-degree angles, 90 plus 34 is 124. I subtract that from 180, and that means that angle B has to be 56 degrees. Over here, 90 and 27 is 117. Take that away from 180, 63. Okay, so that was one thing that we reviewed before we started this unit. Interior angles of triangles equal 180. The other thing we looked at was the Pythagorean theorem, and that's the one we're going to use here. So what's really important is that you just understand which piece is the hypotenuse, which part of the legs. Okay, so I started here, and I redrew my triangle, and I drew it over here, and I could see my 90-degree angle was here. So across from that, that would be my letter C, right? That would represent my hypotenuse. This could be A or B, it doesn't really matter. I worked through the Pythagorean theorem. I'm solving for B. It said round to the nearest tenth, so I had 20 and 6 tenths as my answer. Then I did this triangle, and I just redrew it just because I find this a little visually overwhelming. Sometimes I like to keep myself organized. I found this one easier because I'm looking for the hypotenuse. I don't know why I think that's easier, but I do. Worked through it, found the square root at the bottom, and I got 37 and 2 tenths. Okay, last page. This is a combination question. So this is the kind of question that I probably would have thrown on the unit exam because it's all the things that we need to know in one question here. So I always start with the easiest one. How do I find my angle? 90, 30, it's 120. I subtracted that from 180, and I get 60. So I kind of like those ones because I feel like I can just do them instantly in my head. Here, remembering that this is the 90-degree angle, so the letter M, which again annoys me, I would have relabeled that C because it stands for the hypotenuse, and then I would have worked through that, and I got 63 and 4 tenths. Okay, question 20. O is the center of the circle. Point Q is a point of tangency. Determine the values of D and E. So 1 is a side. So over here we know we're going to use C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And over here we're going to do the sum of the interior angles. So I would have, of course, done that one first. 62 plus 90 is 152. Subtract that from 180 and got 28 degrees. And then I would remember that this represents my hypotenuse. And I would have worked through the Pythagorean theorem, and I would have got 24 and 1/10 there. Okay, question 21, just kind of a thinking question. When are two tangent lines to a circle parallel? Draw a sketch. So I just traced out a circle from a lid of something, and then I just wrote a tangent line QR, and then ST is parallel to it if it's just on the exact opposite side of the circle. You could have drawn them this way too, right? Or this way, right? So that's just an example of how to draw them as parallel lines. Okay, stay tuned for the video. We're going to move on to section 8.2 right away here.